I ran into my former high school Latin teacher the other day at a local bakery. Now retired, Mr. H still maintains an air of the intelligentsia about him. I told him that without his guidance into that language of antiquity, my ability in this modern language of English would have been severely limited. I was not being patronizing, for it is true. On the way back home, my stomach now filled with cheese Danish and coffee, I wondered if someday English would be studied as an ancient language, unpronounceable and almost indecipherable by some freshman in a high school of the future. Would someone have to define a modern version of the Rosetta Stone to translate the novels of Steinbeck and the poems of Frost? Rather than contemplate the future of English, however, we can all witness an example of a modern language that will become an ancient language within our lifetime. The language is French. When a country has to pass a law that its language must be used for all communications on television and radio, this is a certain sign that the language is fading into eternity. In France, there are actual language police that monitor the airwaves, listening for a chance word, an idle expression in English that might creep out of an announcer's mouth through a microphone and into the public domain, whether on radio or television. Furthermore, a given number of pop songs that are played on the radio must be in French, and a certain number of French-language films must be shown in French movie theaters. Any language is destined for the archives when this happens. Of course, there is no real French word for Walkman or hot dog or internet, so the French have just resigned themselves to leaving these words alone, save the French accent. But one can see where this language of the Francophones is going, into the crypts and catacombs of ancient languages, and it is doing so right before our eyes and ears. Now that English has replaced German as the language of science, is the official language of international aviation, and for all intent and purposes is the official language of the Internet, I envision all of the European languages falling into gradual disuse over the next century. There is one notable and interesting exception to this trend. The official language of Israel is Hebrew and is spoken as a modern language. How an ancient written language, which was not spoken among the lay population for over 2,000 years, has become again a modern language is truly remarkable. But this is the exception, not the rule. And even in Israel, there is no word for Walkman or hot dog or internet other than Walkman and hot dog and internet.